earlier this year with the Rockies winning one and Los Angeles winning one. Back upstairs with Spilly, I'm Drew Goodman. I'll tell you what, this pitching matchup tonight is going to be key to getting the Rockies off on the right foot. It's two left-handers, Kyle Freeland, who's kind of been the guy the Rockies go to when they want to end a little slide, and Alex Wood has been unbelievable this year. Both guys create a lot of balls on the ground.
Yeah, they both do. Kyle Freeland is the perfect guy for the Rockies to go tonight. Kyle has been the stopper for the Rockies. He has stopped 2 3-game losing streaks, and you talk about a kid, 10 quality starts. He has pitched just as well on the road as he has at home. He has to trust his stuff. This is a team in the Dodgers. It is a potent lineup. They hit 15 home runs against the Mets in a 4-game series. They're driving the ball out of the yard, but if he keeps it location down, he will be very successful. Now, I'm about to go out on a limb here and say Alex Wood is the Dodgers' best pitcher in 2007. It sounds crazy to say that, but it's not. 10 starts for Alex Wood. He has not had a loss. He is 7-0, and when you look at the numbers beyond the strikeouts and with the ground ball rate at 66%, those are elite numbers. I know this is a team with Clayton Kershaw, but this has been a better season for Alex Wood than Clayton Kershaw.
Health has always been an issue for Alex Wood. Stuff never has been. The location of the stuff never has been. And he's kind of herky-jerky. Guys don't pick him up. Tough assignment for the Rockies tonight. They have been terrific out on the road. They're ready to go. It's a big series in LA. It's the Rockies. It's the Dodgers. Come on back to Chavez Ravine with us. Beautiful aerial view of the home of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Played a couple of years at the Coliseum when they moved west in '58, but this has been home for 5+ decades. And the Rockies ready to go. First pitch of the ball game from Alex Wood is in there for strike one on Chuck Nasty. Charlie leading things off, and yesterday led things off with a home run of close to 440 feet. On base at a 380 clip, and this ball's chopped foul. Well, our Mako big hit out of the gate. Charlie went down, and this ball was like 8 inches off the ground when he made contact with it. It was, according to StatCast, the lowest pitch that's been hit out this year. Our Mako big hit from yesterday. Charlie's behind 0-2. The thing about Alex Wood, there's a lot of things about Alex Wood, Spilly. The guy's always ahead in the count, though.
And that's what the Rockies' approach is going to be tonight. They are not going to allow Alex Wood to jump ahead of him. This is a pitcher over the last couple years that has gained confidence in his stuff. And what I mean by that is he's throwing a lot more strikes. He is just a 3-pitch mix.
Well, one of the reasons perhaps he's bolder with throwing the ball in the strike zone, you see 92 there. If you look back to his Atlanta days, he's up a tick or two in terms of velocity.
There's some deception with Alex Wood. He reminds me of Chris Sale. I think when you see it, the arm delivery, the action, his ability to get the strikeout.
Well, on one hand, you'd say, okay, he's a poor man's Chris Sale, but then you look at the numbers, he ain't a poor man's anybody.
No, he's an elite starter this season.
He has a whip this year of .092. The league's hitting .188 against him. He doesn't have to take a backseat to anybody this year. That's a good take by Charlie. 2-2. That pitch was definitely high, but it's a chase pitch. Look at the numbers, 7-0, a 190 ERA. That's why Spilly said what he did. As great as Clayton Kershaw has been, this guy's numbers are actually better than Kershaw's. Not that Kershaw's are bad.
No, Kershaw's really good. Fastball, curveball, changeup, the mix is there for you. Fastball about 92 to 93 miles an hour. There's a lot of deception. It is on top of the hitters, but his changeup and curveball, very hard to square up.
Charlie lifts this ball to shallow center, and it's going to drop. That's a great leadoff at bat for Blackmon. He sees a number of pitches, works the count full, and then lobs one into center field. So Blackmon's aboard, and I think whenever you've had a couple of tough days as the Rockies have, you want to find a way, especially against a guy of this caliber, to get a quick start. Southwest batting order for the Rockies. DJ will bat second, then it's Arenado, Reynolds, Desmond. Story will bat 6. Raimel Tapia is in right field. Tom Murphy behind the plate. You say, maybe you're wondering where Cargo is. Cargo is available. His shoulder, he hurt it during a swing yesterday. His right shoulder, not throwing shoulder. It's a little bit sore, so he's a day-to-day proposition. He's seeing Wood tonight and Kershaw tomorrow, a couple of lefties, so we'll keep you abreast of his situation. It's not a DL type of thing. Like the idea by LeMahieu, got the attention of Justin Turner. And just because he showed it once, with that pitch out of the zone, Spill, he's probably still in play.
I wouldn't take it away. I think DJ is susceptible to the double play. Alex Wood has a 66% ground ball rate. If he was qualified, he would lead the National League and probably Major League Baseball as well.
And that's outside, 2-0.
I think the Rockies, with how good of an at-bat Charlie had to lead off the game, they were a little fortunate. Their better center fielder, Jock Peterson, is not in tonight's game because of the left-hander Kyle Freeland. Chris Taylor's in center.
And that's 3-0, which is most unusual for Wood. Just going back, picking up on the point you made about us kind of celebrating Charlie's leadoff at bat. I think every once in a while there are folks who float, well, maybe Charlie should bat third because he's such a good an RBI guy. He's a power guy also. And that's a 4-pitch walk. Now you have 2 on and nobody out. And Charlie, first of all, and this is why I wouldn't agree with that thought, Charlie enjoys leading off, and his productivity and uniqueness of batting first, why take that away just to put him in the middle of the order when he is, he and George Springer are the best leadoff guys who can give you a 1-0 lead before you've taken a seat.
I think maybe you would have an argument for Charlie hitting third if the bottom of the Rockies lineup wasn't so good at getting on base. Tony Walters has been fantastic. Tom Murphy's in there today, but Raimel Tapia and Trevor Story. So when you look at what the Rockies have been able to do with the bottom of their lineup, the numbers that Charlie have are reflective of how good the quality of bats have been at the bottom of the lineup.
Seager in the 5.5 hole, and now Wood steps off. Logan Forsythe playing almost up the middle. Nolan had just a marvelous homestand. He's got the average at .301. Leading Major League Baseball in extra base hits. That would work well right here. And against left-handed pitching, he's been unbelievably good, hitting .446 against lefties this year, slugging over .900. That's absurd.
It's a total package with the quality at bat that Nolan provides. He doesn't strike out very often. 1380 OPS against lefties. That is ridiculous.
And overall this year against the Dodgers, he's hitting .353 with 4 home runs. He's driven in 10 against the Dodgers. He goes away and misses, and it's 1-1.
As Alex Wood is trying to find his mechanics to get in the strike zone, the Rockies will not let off the gas. They will try to attack him. Anything in the middle, whether it's a fastball, changeup, or curveball, the Rockies are trying to own that part of the plate.
Another off-speed pitch on the 1-1, and it's 1-2.
Wood went 2 straight games against Cincinnati without allowing a walk. So DJ earning the walk has been pretty rare.
One-two on Nolan. And he bounces that one foul. When Wood comes in, Spilly, it's typically in off the plate. Went 8 innings in his last outing. Gave up a run on just 4 hits. Didn't walk a guy. Billy mentioned that 5 strikeouts, 12 strikeouts, no walks his last 2 outings. 2 on, nobody out here. And a slowly hit ball to first, and this will work as kind of a sacrifice. So second and third, 1 out, and Mark Reynolds will try to get the Rockies on the board. Here's the Dodgers defensively. Kike Hernandez, who has started at 6 different spots, is getting a start in right field tonight. Taylor, we were talking about him, he's in center. Gutierrez is in left. And then in the middle of the infield, it's Seager and Forsythe. Justin Turner and Cody Bellinger on the corners. Doing the catching's young Austin Barnes. Grandal not getting a start tonight. Switch hitter doesn't hit as well against lefties. Swung on and miss. Reynolds is 0 for 7 lifetime against Wood. Great this year, and so many of the Rockies have been with runners in scoring position. .366 average. This is where Mark, I think he'll have a 2-strike approach from the get-go here. He's trying to get it in play and get Blackman home with the infield bat.
Big at bat from Mark Reynolds. First inning. We know how good the Rockies are when scoring first. I always say for the Rockies over the course of this season that it has been a sprint to see if the Rockies can score first. Their record on the season, 36-8.
1-1 and 1-2. I was talking to Mark during BP today about Wood, and you hear guys keep saying he's funky. It's not only that he's a little tougher to pick up, but he makes a lot of high quality pitches. 1-2. And he's confounded Mark Reynolds. 8 at bats, 5 strikeouts. Now it'll take a 2-out knock from Ian Desmond. And Desmond has had success against Alex Wood. 5 for 21, including a couple of home runs.
Well, the sign of a good pitcher is their ability to limit damage and get the strikeout when you need it. That's something Alex Wood does extremely well. It's a rare combination to have a 66% ground ball rate with a strikeout rate over 10.
And that's a called strike at 93. Now, if that's going to be a strike all night,
it's perfect for Kyle.
You hope it goes both ways. Wow, that was really low. Desmond yesterday 0 for 4 in the Rockies' 10-3 loss to Arizona. Rockies tied with Arizona behind the Dodgers by 1.5 games in the NL West.
Well, Alex has the ability to pitch up in the zone, fastball above the belt on the Subaru Supermo. Desmond trying to get on top of the baseball, swing straight through it.
0-2. I don't know how Desi got to that, but fortunately he did.
Take a look on the Subaru Supermo. What looks like a changeup. Able to get the top hand on top.
And Wood, with runners at second and third and 1 out, strikes out Reynolds and Desmond back to back, and the Rockies do not score. Nice opportunity in the first. Kyle Freeland is set to go against this Dodger lineup that has been so very productive, particularly of late. They hit 15 home runs in the 4-game sweep of the New York Mets. That is a new franchise record as you look at Logan Forsythe, the former Tampa Bay Ray. He'll lead things off in the Dave Roberts lineup, presented by Southwest Airlines. Corey Seager will bat second. Justin Turner hitting .387, amazingly. And then it's Bellinger with the 22 home runs. UK Hernandez, Chris Taylor, Franklin Gutierrez, Austin Barnes, and Alex Wood. Kyle Freeland with a .342 ERA. It's the lowest ERA through 14 starts for a Rockies rookie pitcher ever. And his first pitch of the night is right at the knees, strike one. .8-4 record for Freeland.
It's a big start for Kyle Freeland. 8-4, 10 quality starts on the season. I love the ERA, 3.42. Not a lot of strikeouts, quite a bit of walks. You'll have those numbers if you are an elite ground ball pitcher. The arsenal is pretty simple. It's fastball, the cut fastball, changeup, and slider. He did not use his slider in his last start.
You know, the metrics say he didn't use his slider, but I don't know about you, Spilly. Sometimes it's hard to differentiate
cutter
his slider and his cutter. Murph called for a changeup, calls for a slider twice. This ball is hit pretty well right center field, and look out. It's caught by Blackmon and Tapia, and around the batting cage tonight, Charlie doesn't have to look at the lineup every day. He knows he's in the lineup. He's batting first. He asked somebody, he said, is Cargo in there? Because he knew Cargo had dinged his shoulder a little bit. And that's when he learned that Cargo wasn't out there. And it's loud. It's a big stadium. You got a rookie next to you who hasn't played next to you very frequently. And those things can happen. Fortunately, the ball was caught and nobody got hurt.
No, in Dodger Stadium, and Corey Sullivan's down in the camera well with us, it's the loudest stadium I can think of for an outfielder. Very difficult to hear each other, just the way the acoustics are set up with the symmetrical field.
Seager, we always say this, he swings at the first pitch as much as anybody in baseball. And Corey is with us down low. Sully, what was your take on that?
Well, I think the most important thing when you have a situation like that with a guy like Rymel, who obviously hasn't played at Dodger Stadium, you have to take a peek because it is very loud. Those speakers in center field block out all the noise. He needs to take a peek over. Charlie, take a peek over. You usually raise your glove up as an outfielder to let the other person know you're coming.
Yeah, watch in between pitching breaks. When they have pitching changes, watch where the outfielders go. They will run away from the wall of stereo sound that is in center field.
Here's Turner. He gets a breaking ball, and it misses 1-0. Turner this year with that 387 average, and he's starting to hit the long ball also. The Dodgers have not done a thing wrong in a couple of weeks. They've won 7 straight, 13 out of 14. The pitching's been great, and their offense has been robust. That's a good pitch, 1-1. They've won 8 consecutive games at Dodger Stadium, which is their longest since a stretch last year where they won 10 in a row for Dave Roberts here. In fact, over their last 51 home games, they're 40-11. And Mark unable to catch that. He has no play at second, and now the Rockies will watch Seager go to scoring position.
That didn't look like an awful throw. It just looked like Mark Reynolds missed it at first base. A snap throw, and that's just a whiff. There's times where you throw a baseball and certain guys have spots. We all have spots. If you throw it down and in on a throw, you can handcuff an infielder, and that's exactly what happened to Mark Reynolds. He was handcuffed by that throw.
2-1 on Turner. They have not determined yet who the error is on. Mark Reynolds will tell you afterward. He's got to make that catch. Ball was airborne. That's 3-1. They're giving it to Freeland, which rough error. Nice 3-1 pitch, 3-2.
It's a fantastic 3-1 pitch. You know Justin Turner is looking to create some damage. Has himself in a hitter's count, looking to pull the baseball. That is a well-located pitch.
Guys, one of the things being down here, this perspective gives me is the late movement on Kyle Freeland's ball. I think that's one of those things he has to get familiar with coming from altitude down to sea level, basically, is how much that two-seamer is going to sink.
3-2, and that is a base hit to left. Seager is going to get a stop sign. Desmond makes a perfect throw to the plate. Well, Corey, he did a great job charging that baseball, Ian Desmond.
Yeah, he did. He came through it very, very well. I know it looks like he didn't hit the cutoff man, but that ball was right over the head of Nolan. You got to like the pitch right there from Kyle Freeland. You got to tip your cap to Turner. He's able to pull his hands inside on pitch up and in, drive it into left field. But Ian Desmond does everything right that you want from an outfielder right there, delivering a strike to the plate.
Problem already. First and third, one out, and here's Cody Bellinger. Overall hitting .271, but his month of June has been large. He leads baseball with 11 home runs in June. He's driven in 20. So he can get a ground ball here and perhaps double up Bellinger.
League's still trying to figure out where Bellinger's holes are. There was a point earlier in the season where they were talking about sending Cody Bellinger back down to the minor leagues.
Yeah, he will strike out. It's not unusual for a power guy, especially a young power guy. So in the month of June, the 11 home runs, as we said, the most in baseball, but he went a 10-game stretch where he hit 10 home runs. The only other Dodger to accomplish that was Shawn Green back in May of 2002. This is to deep center field. It's going to get the run home. And that's what the Rockies were not able to do in the first when they had a great scoring opportunity to get the ball in play. Bellinger's 50th RBI. While we have a moment, the Rockies will align this way defensively. Desmond, Blackmon, and Tapia, as you saw, in the outfield. And it's Arenado, Story, LeMahieu, and Reynolds in what has been a superb infield defense. Tommy Murphy's doing the catching. Kike Hernandez. And that's going to be a base hit. Turner to second. Third hit in the inning, and that'll bring up Chris Taylor.
A weak contact. Kike broke his bat on the swing. Based on the positioning for DJ, DJ was shaded more up the middle. And Kike ends up finding a hole.
When you look at the Dodgers, and you knew they had a lot of talent going in, they have a deep pitching staff. But you have to have, we always say this, you have to have good stories. The Rockies have a great story at first base. Mark Reynolds, when Desmond went down, and he's had an all-star caliber first half. Well, Chris Taylor's one of those nice stories. And now the bases are loaded. I'm sure that'll be an infield hit.
Rockies snake bit the last two batters. Infield single for Chris Taylor. Ball with eyes. Mark Reynolds trying to give a good feed on the Subaru Supermo, but the feed was behind Kyle Freeland. I don't think if his foot is on the bag that he's safe regardless.
Yeah, I don't think it would have mattered. I agree with you. He beat it with the head first slides. Now you have the bases loaded, 2 outs, and Gutierrez to finish the thought. From the Dodgers' standpoint, 2 of their great stories. I mean, Cody Bellinger was their top prospect coming into the year. That doesn't mean you expect him to go out and hit 22 home runs in his first 54 games.
No, do
Chris
something we've
Taylor
never
was
seen
picked
before.
up from Seattle. He's got 9 home runs. He's hitting 284. But teams that are where the Rockies are, where the Dodgers are, they're going to have some pleasant surprises. And that's a first pitch strike on Gutierrez. Big moment early in this game, obviously. The Dodgers red hot. They already have a run. You'll limit the damage deal. Looks like Field and Colbert's got a pretty wide zone. Up and down, east and west. Benefits Freeland on that first delivery. And on the second, that's right there. It's 0-2. Turner at third, Hernandez at second, Taylor at first. This is slowly hit to third, and Nolan will get him by a couple of steps. Good job by Freeland. The last 3 pitches he made that were contacted were great pitches, just bad results. So that last one, 1-0 LA. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores, by Cheyenne Frontier Days. Log on to cfdrodeo.com for the full lineup, and by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Pretty Los Angeles night. The Rockies down a run as they bat in the top of the second. It'll be Story, Tapia, and Tom Murphy against 26-year-old Alex Wood. Good pitch by Freeland to get out of that inning against Gutierrez.
Everything going right for the Dodgers of late. When you're playing good baseball, and Dave Roberts has said this is the best he's seen his Dodgers team play as a group. Base running, defense, pitching, bullpen, hitting in the years that he's been here. This stretch that the Dodgers, having won 13 out of 14, have been playing.
Did you find it unusual? I referenced this in our open that he proclaimed we're the best team in the National League West. Usually, you know how baseball works, and Dave's a great guy. But there's always, humility and, hey, we're a good team and we believe the Rockies. And he was very complimentary of the Rockies. He didn't dismiss the Rockies or Arizona. But it's almost like he was trying to instill even greater confidence in his club that has played very well.
I agree. I think he's probably talking more for his group, trying to give them that bit of confidence. It is locker room, locker board material.
Story fouls it off. Sully, did you and Spilly, same question, would you guys pay attention to what was said, what was written leading into a quote-unquote big series, even though I know as players you guys are conditioned that it's a marathon and we're still in the first half of the game, half of the season numerically?
I'm not sure you ever need more fire.
That's going to eat up Forsythe because he didn't come and get that little line drive, and Story's aboard leading off the second.
Well, they had Story positioned perfectly, and Forsythe would look like almost a lineup changeup. Caught him on the in-between hop, and he goes for a backhand, and it just eats him up. Logan wasn't able to decide on how to approach the baseball as it got closer.
I think, when another player or coach says something in those scenarios, obviously they give you a little incentive, but I feel like when you're at this level, you never need another thing to add to the fire. I feel like you're always trying to defeat who you're playing, especially in big series like this.
And you feel there is a difference. I know you want to have uber focus no matter who you're playing, but this is different. I mean, you're talking about the Rockies 19 games above 500 here on June 23rd. The Dodgers 22 north of 500. The Rockies have been the team in first all season long. Now the Dodgers have slipped into first. Look out. The adrenaline flows a little more, doesn't it, Spilly?
Yeah, it definitely does. This is a big series for both ball clubs, and they both want to take advantage of the situation. Here's a chance for the Dodgers to gain ground. Here's a chance for the Rockies to take their position back.
Do you buy into mid-season statements?
Yes, I do. I think anytime when you look at what the Dodgers have been able to accomplish in the West, they've only played .500 baseball in the National League West. The Rockies, on the other hand, have been beating up on their counterparts. And this is another chance. I mean, you want the Dodgers to know that the Rockies are going to be here till the very end, and that not only do you have to go through Colorado, but that they're willing to come to your park and they can beat you up and not listen to Randy Newman at the end of the game.
That's low on Tapia. 2-1. It was ruled a base hit for Trevor Story. That's a fair ball. Tapia trades places at first. Let's take a look at our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. West against the West, the top three teams. By far, the Rockies and Dodgers have done a better job inside the division. The Rockies are 25-13 against the NL West. That's better than any of their compadres in the West. The Dodgers just 16-16 inside the division, and they've beaten everybody else up outside the division. 32-10 against the rest of baseball. I mean, think about that. Only lost 10 games outside the National League West.
They had a run of bad teams that they happened to play. The New York Mets just in here swept the 4-game series. They are not playing good baseball. In fact, a lot of the veteran players are now for sale.
This ball is ripped to left. Tommy Murphy. And that's going to roll all the way to the wall. Tapia can really go. He's going to get a green light. And he's going to score on a double by Murphy. You got to love the wheels of Raimel Tapia. You didn't think that off the bat. You thought, okay, it's going to be a single, probably first and second, because the ball was hit to left field. Instead, it's a double, and it's a 1-1 ball game.
The Rockies are going to be aggressive against Alex Wood. Middle of the plate, they are going to take advantage of it. Alex Wood throws a first pitch changeup. Tom Murphy spins it around. More importantly, Franklin Gutierrez used to be a fantastic center fielder. He is no longer the defender he once was. Basically plays a potential single into a run-scoring double.
That is the first hit of the year for Tommy Murphy, who missed about 2.5 months. Nice time for it. And Freeland, who could swing the bat, hits it hard at Seager, and he runs the bases well also. He got up the line. That was fairly close at first base.
Spilly, you were talking about mid-season statements and how the Dodgers have won 13 of 14 as of late, but I'm sitting down here thinking to myself, the Rockies unquestionably have played the most consistent baseball all year long. They've been making a season-long statement. The Diamondbacks who the Rockies just played had to win 10 of 11. The Dodgers have now won 13 of 14, but the Rockies have just had a steady ascent the way they've done it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Corey. They have been terrific all year long. The only time, 2 times you think, man, it's a little bit rough, was the last 2 days. They got beaten up pretty good by Arizona after winning the first ball game of that 3-game set. And naturally, the other time was when they had the rough series against Washington. And it's not just that they lost, but they gave up a lot of runs. But every time they've come back and then they go on a run. Remember in Pittsburgh, Rockies lost the first couple there. They win. That was coming off basically a 7-game winning streak. Then they put another 7-game or 6-game winning streak together. 1-1 on Charlie, who had a base hit last inning.
Well, Corey, you and I both know you much rather be on a team that's constantly trying to prove themselves. When you come to the field with a chip on your shoulder to not only beat the other team, but to constantly prove that you're better. There's an edge. You grow it, you get an edge, and if you don't look at this series in June as one of those statement series, then you're missing the boat.
I completely agree. And I think the way this team, it's almost a blue-collar work ethic, the way they come to the ballpark every day, you know, with not just a plan to win, but an expectation to win, and they go out and execute on a daily basis. The offense in particular, the way they've been able to respond, even in this game, after giving up the run in the first inning, coming back and throwing another punch in the top of the second.
One and two on Charlie. Murphy at second. Couple good takes tonight. Spilly. Blackman against Wood. We saw it in his first at bat on a fastball that was up, and that was one his breaking ball spinning just off the plate. That's a tough take, left on left. And Charlie's going to back out. Wood taking a long time. Murphy at second with 2 outs. Good athlete. And this is poked and caught by Turner. And that right there, as crazy as it sounds, that may have saved a run. That may have snuck in between he and Seager. Rockies tie it up on that double by Tommy Murphy. Snow cone job. It's 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs, Corey Sullivan. Fans join in on the conversation. Send us your questions. Use Twitter or Instagram. Include the hashtag Toyota Talk. Questions or statements, if you will. Austin Barnes is at the plate, the catcher. And he takes a slider outside, ball one. Barnes, product of Arizona State. His uncle was a good big league player. And a familiar name and face to Rockies fans over the years, Mike Gallego. He's coached third, struck the infielders for Colorado. 2-0 on Barnes. And that's not close. 3-0.
Mike Gallego, that's a great name. We called him the windmill. Yeah, he twists his back and the left arm just starts windmill. You know, get it?
Yeah.
We also called him the suggestion box, too, because he would put his hands up and tell you to stop, and we took it as a suggestion.
Well, Freeland on 4 pitches just walked Barnes, who's batting 8th, and that will make the assignment for Alex Wood simple.
Alex Wood.
Kyle Freeland has been a stopper. The Rockies had that rough stretch against Washington, and he went down to Arizona, a difficult place to pitch, and he allowed just 1 run in 6 innings as the Rockies had that good series against the Diamondbacks, and it was started by Freeland. Stopped a 3-game losing streak in Seattle. Rockies have lost their last 2. It's funny because of the way the Rockies lost 16-5 and 10-3. You forget that the Rockies had a 5-2 homestand. That's pretty good. You'll take 5-2
any day of the week.
Yep.
Oh, it's just amazing. The fact that the Rockies were in first place for 67 days in a row, they lose 1 game. That's it. They had a 6-game winning streak. They lose 1. And just like that, they fell out of first place. That's how good this division is played.
Well, 75 games into the season. This is historic since divisional play. You have 3 teams that are playing. He doesn't get the job done, so that's 1 out on a strikeout. You have 3 teams that are playing
Number 11,
14 or better baseball. It's never happened before. And all the guys, we were talking about this during the D-back series, all the guys say the same thing on both sides. Every time they look at the scoreboard, they say, man, don't those other guys ever lose? And conversely, the Dodgers been looking up at scoreboards, the Diamondbacks, and looking at the Rockies saying, do those guys ever lose? 1 out. Logan Forsythe hit a fly ball to right center field that was caught by Charlie Blackmon, though there was almost a collision with Raimel Tapia. It's a long road trip for the Rockies. 3 here in LA, 3 in San Francisco. They'll have an off day Thursday, and then 3 against Arizona down in Phoenix. 2 balls and a strike.
Forsythe was originally drafted by the San Diego Padres back in 2008, was a first rounder. Was traded to Tampa Bay, and this offseason traded from Tampa Bay to the Dodgers.
This is fair, and 1 play for Nolan with his bare hand. He'll get Forsythe.
Go swing, go swing.
Great glove, great bare hand.
This is not a normal bare hand play. With the way the ball was hit, it was hit hard. I think after Nolan made the play, saw how far Forsythe was up the line, you could see him talking to himself, thinking, maybe I should have used the glove. But when you have gloves on both hands, it doesn't really matter.
Spilly and Sully, I always say this with Seager. Reminds me of Jeff Francoeur. You can't just feed him a cookie first pitch because he is looking to swing. He had a base hit on his first pitch, and he has another base hit. And Tapia's throw coming home, and it is on line, but it skips through. And scoring the go-ahead run is Austin Barnes. Tapia's throw kind of handcuffed Tommy Murphy. Well, he didn't feed him a first pitch fastball, but it was a hanging breaking ball.
Raimel had time to make maybe a better throw with the arm strength that he has in right field. Hanging curveball, the super mode. Drew, you're exactly right. This guy's looking to do damage right away. Bit of an overthrow. Handcuffed Murph at home.
You guys both had good throwing arms. Is your thought I'm trying to bounce that, or in the case of Tapia, it almost looked like I'm going to try to get it there
in the air. That's what he looked like he was trying to do. You're better off, and Corey, you can explain just as well as I can. You want the ball to skip off the grass. It actually makes it a lot easier for the catcher to receive the baseball and make a tag.
There was always a 3-foot circle that I was basically aiming at that is the same distance as the rubber is from the plate. And you always get a good skip there. I never tried to sacrifice arm strength for accuracy. Accuracy was the most paramount thing. And I think right there, Bill, you said it, it's just a little bit of an overthrow. If you're trying to hit that 3-foot target, you know exactly what it takes. And you can see right there, Tom Murphy's just having a tough time trying to make a handle on that to try and make the tag as well.
And to your point, if the throw is even on 2 hops, he's going to be out because he beat him with the throw. They just handcuffed Murphy. They checked on Seager. I have no idea what that was about. Kind of looking at his hamstring, I've been told.
It's either a cramp or some sort of hamstring pull, but not a bad one. Not severe enough to take him out of the game. We will keep an eye on that.
He moved up on the throw, and now you have to deal with Turner, who singled his first time.
Drew, to get back to your point about Corey Seager and ambushing fastballs, I think of Matt Holliday in that situation. Holliday is one of the best first pitch fastball hitters, and I think a lot of the Dodger hitters are going up there knowing Freeland likes to throw fastballs, knowing he likes to throw them in the zone, and they're trying to attack it.
And so he spun one, but the problem was it was probably the worst breaking ball he's thrown in this young game. I mean, it was up in the middle of the plate. So the idea was the right one, the execution wasn't. One and two. I'm not even so sure that's where he wanted that pitch. Rockies facing another hot and talented team. Arizona was really swinging it. We understand that. And the Dodgers, 6 straight games where they've scored at least 6 runs. And this is line to right. This is going to drop in front of Tapia. It's going to get another run home. Turner's ridiculous. Well over 390 now.
Number 35.
Seager walking back gingerly after the little hamstring pull. Looks like a cutter on the outside part of the plate, maybe a slider, caught too much, part with how well Justin Turner's been able to see the baseball.
You want to talk about good approach, though. The swing before that was just a classic overswing, trying to hit a homer, and then 2-strike approach settles right down and goes the other way.
Bellinger swings and misses. This is not to pick on Raimel Tapia, who really is a very good defender, but he doesn't have the same experience that Carlos Gonzalez has, and Cargo's had a great year defensively. As I don't know, Sully, you're at field level. Do you think that ball's catchable on a good break?
It's one of those that you have to make your mind up on your first step, and if there's any doubt, you have to do what Raimel did and pull up and play it on a hop.
It is a place, though, correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, that you would think about laying out because you have Turner's 2 outs. You have the run's going to score if you don't make the catch. Obviously, Turner would get the second, probably not much further. You know, Charlie's coming over to back up, that sort of thing. That would be a place maybe you lay out if you can get close.
If you can get close, yes, that's a situation where you would consider a dive. If there's a runner at first with 2 outs, no, you would not dive on a ball like that. But Dodger Stadium is very difficult for a lot of outfielders to pick up the baseball.
That's going to be a hit toward the gap in left center field. It's going to run all the way to the wall, and Turner is around third. He's going to score. It's 4-1. All of this with 2 outs. And it all began with a leadoff walk to Austin Barnes on 4 pitches. That is 2 RBIs tonight for Bellinger. He's got 51.
Well, we just watched Justin Turner have a good 2-strike approach. Cody Bellinger, same type of deal. Shortened up the swing. Slider down and away. Able to split the gap between Charlie and Desi. And even though Justin Turner suffered a hamstring injury earlier in the season, Justin's able to score from first.
Kike Hernandez takes strike 1. Seven hits already for LA. Shallow left. 3 more runs for LA in the second. They had 3 straight hits at one point to produce the runs. Top of the third, the Rockies will have LeMahieu up first. When the Rockies score 7 runs or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Well, Seager's hamstring is tight enough that they are going to bring Kike Hernandez into the infield and insert Yasiel Puig into right field. So Hernandez goes from right field to short. Seager out of the ball game, Puig into the ball game. Hernandez played short yesterday in that series finale against the Mets. And DJ bounces one slowly. Hernandez comes up with it. Good play.
That's how it always works in baseball, right? Change positions, the ball will find you.
And Rockies need to do what they did the second inning, counter punch. They've had traffic already against Alex Wood. Get a little momentum going back on their side after the disappointment of that bottom of the second inning. And that's caught, 2 outs.
Nolan checking his bat to see if he broke it. Hit the ball off the end of the bat. Looks like a changeup.
Number 12, Mark Reynolds.
Again, Dodgers position basically where Nolan was hitting this baseball. In Subaru Supermo, you can see the changeup. Nolan hits a changeup right back.
Reynolds trying to figure out Alex Wood. 0-1. Mark struck out in the first inning with runners at second and third for the second out. And then Ian Desmond struck out behind him. Rockies had a great opportunity to break the ice early. Check it out at first with C.B. Buckner. That face kind of said it all, didn't it?
Can't see it.
Just
not picking it up.
Yeah, he's just not picking it up. Do you have guys like that, Corey, Spilly, where you just, for whatever reason, could not see the baseball well?
I did. Guys like Aaron Harang, Chris Young, guys that were taller, I couldn't find the window where their release point was, and I think that's similar for Alex Wood.
And that's just outside, despite Austin Barnes trying to steal the strike. So a walk with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Desmond.
It's off the plate on the Subaru strike zone. Oh, the Subaru Supermo, well received by Austin Barnes behind home plate. Fielding Colbreth said nope.
One ball on Desmond. Here's the 1-1. Desmond and Nolan Arenado both have hit a couple home runs against Wood. And Wood strikes out Desmond for the second time. We go to the bottom of the third. The Dodgers leading the Rockies 4-1. Chris Taylor will be first up to face Kyle Freeland. This is the 200th game played at Dodger Stadium between the Rockies and Los Angeles. The first game at Dodger Stadium, LA won 8-0, and the guy who's normally here, he's not here tonight, pitched that ball game. Oral Hershiser, Bulldog, threw a complete game shutout. Mike Piazza, the Hall of Famer, hit a home run in game 1. This is, as we said, game 200. Dodgers won 125 of them. Slowly hit to first, and Reynolds will block the path of Taylor. One out, and that'll bring up Franklin Gutierrez.
For 28, Franklin Gutierrez.
Gutierrez came up with the bases loaded in the first. A run already in for the Dodgers. On an 0-2 pitch, he got sawed off and hit a weak ground ball to third. Freeland did a good job of working out of a tough situation. Was not as fortunate in the second. He gave up 3 runs.
Dodgers signed Gutierrez this offseason after spending majority of his career with Seattle. A resurgence for Gutierrez after battling injuries for several years.
He's been known for a couple of things. One, when his legs were a little younger, his defensive play in center field. He's now more of a left fielder. You made mention of that. And his ability to hit lefties. 285 career hitter against lefties. Numbers are down this year, but he's getting the start this evening. And this is to shallow left, and Story can't quite make the play. That would have been special.
Another broken bat hit for the Dodgers. Jams Gutierrez. Trevor giving chase. This is a play for infielders. You don't get an opportunity to make these plays too often. Basically go out like a wide receiver, a go route. Well, the Subaru Super Mode just missed his glove.
Austin Barnes with a 4-pitch walk started that inning, that rally in the second inning. He's at the plate with 1 out, outside and high, ball 1. Barnes doesn't necessarily have the typical catcher's body, and that's because he originally was an infielder. Heard that story before, right?
Reminds me a lot of Tony Walters.
The runs per game for the Dodgers at home, they are scoring them at an historic level in LA. .57 runs a game. You usually think of Dodger Stadium as a great pitcher's park. Well, not only has their offense been very productive for Dave Roberts, but in talking to people who have watched baseball here for years, they say the park's playing differently.
101 home runs for the Dodgers this season. Ranks near the top of the National League. I'm a conspiracist, though. I think the ball's wound tight.
You've been saying that for years.
And another walk to Barnes.
Well, it's been a struggle for command for Kyle Freeland. A lot of mislocations.
Buddy Black's coming out, not Steve Foster. Nobody warming up. This is pitching coach Buddy Black.
I wish I could be in that conversation to hear this.
It's not a conversation, Billy. There have to be other people talking for it to be a conversation. That was a directive of some sort.
I'm pretty decent at reading lips. It looked to me like he told him to slow it down. Slow down.
Which is the advice we always hear from pitching savants like a Buddy Black, a Steve Foster, which goes against your natural inclination when you're angry, when some bad things have happened. You want to throw harder and move quicker. He's now 0 for 4, talking about Wood trying to get a bunt down tonight. You got Alex Wood, your counterpart tonight. I know we said this a couple times the last, really 2 days ago. We didn't televise yesterday, but you can't afford to fall any further behind. 0-2 on the slug bunt. That's fair to third. Murphy makes a good throw and a better throw from third to first.
That's fantastic, Nolan.
That's a great double play to get the Rockies off the field. 2-5-3. Well done. Actually 2-5-4. That was DJ at first.
Let's get the momentum back. Let's go.
ceremony at Fenway prior to the ball game today. The Red Sox did go on to win on Big Papi's jersey retirement day. He was great. You talk about all of the marvelous athletes in four sports to call Boston home. I don't know if there's ever been a better fit or a greater love affair between a city and one of their favorite athletes than the city of Boston and Big Papi. And at whatever level it was, it grew exponentially after the tragedy of the Boston Marathon and how he handled it in very frank language that next day. And Boston Strong grew from that, and Big Papi's legend also grew. Base hit first time up for Trevor Story. He's out in front of an off-speed pitch. It's 0-1. It is Story, Tapia, and Murphy. They work together to produce the Rockies' only run in the second.
Changeup by Alex Wood. Good sequence of pitches to start to Trevor Story. Notice Alex has started using his changeup a lot more. Looks like Austin Barnes wanted a fastball up. Elected Rockies player to celebrate during the Wednesday, July 5th game versus Cincinnati. Buy the ticket package and get the exclusive player t-shirt.
He doesn't miss a target much, Alex Wood.
He has settled in nicely into this game.
Last time he faced the Rockies at Dodger Stadium was September of 2015. And he threw 8 innings of no-run, one-hit baseball. He didn't walk anybody. He struck out 5. The only hit was by a guy who's no longer in baseball. Former #1 pick Kyle Parker had the only hit that night for Colorado. And that happened back in the second inning. Good take by Tapia, 2-1.
There's no real pattern with Alex Wood. As trying to follow along, I always tried to hit lefties. Throws his fastball about 50% of the time, and then has such a good changeup and curveball mix that as a hitter, the only thing you can really try to do is eliminate one side of the plate. And for me, watching Alex, he's much better at arm side command.
Line drive, but right at Hernandez, 2 outs.
What have you seen from down on field level, Corey?
It's the same thing. The only thing I really pick up on is the fact that with 2 strikes, and I think this is more of a Dodger trend because I know Yasmani Grandal likes to climb the ladder. They definitely go above the belt with 2 strikes. You can see Austin get up above the crouch, try and call the ball up. But you're right. I think as a hitter, especially right-handed, you got to camp away. Lefties, unfortunately, you got to camp in.
Murphy had a double, a drive, and a run. First hit for Tommy this year. If you're wondering, Tommy in his previous call-ups has played at Dodger Stadium. In fact, he was saying he got the start on Vin Scully night late last year. Two balls and a strike.
Special weekend last year. Vince Scully, the final game, even though the Sunday game ended with the Charlie Culberson walk-off home run. I remember crying in the camera well that Corey's sitting in as Vin waved goodbye to everybody.
You were crying, not Vin.
No, Vin doesn't cry. I cry far too often.
It's okay. You're in touch with your inner self.
He's a legend.
He's a legend of legends.
Him and his wife Sandy would always walk from the press box to the end of the press box where Nancy B, the Dodgers in-house organ player, was every 7th inning.
Called strike 3. That's 5 strikeouts for Alex Wood. Middle of 4. The Dodgers up 4-1. When we come back, Buddy Black will join us from the Rockies dugout. Fourth, and Buddy Black is kind enough, as he does every Friday night, to join us from the dugout. Buddy, it's one of those little stretches where, as hot as the Rockies have been, you're facing some lineups that don't seem to be able to miss the barrel.
Yeah, they're swinging it very well, as you guys can see. And actually, they've hit a couple really good pitches. There's been some balls up at the strike zone, but you know they're swinging it, man, no doubt about it.
When you went out and spent a moment to go talk to Kyle Freeland, what kind of conversation do you have when you run out there?
Well, there's a lot of different things. That was a little bit strategic, a little bit more. There was a mental aspect to it as well. You know, there's an in-game moment that I thought was important for me and Kyle to talk about.
All right, hey, buddy, as always, good luck the rest of the way. We appreciate it.
Okay, guys, thanks.
So here we go to the bottom of the 4th, and it's the top of the Dodger order for Kyle Freeland. It'll be Logan Forsythe, Yasiel Puig, who's now in the game for Corey Seager, and Justin Turner. A word from the Dodger clubhouse, a right hamstring strain for Seager, which may eliminate him. Talk about back of the leg injuries, may eliminate him for the rest of the weekend. But I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Nope. But
he did stay in the game after they went out and checked on him, and then scored on a base hit. But you don't want to mess around with hamstrings.
Those injuries can linger for a while.
0-2, and that's sliced foul and out of play.
Well, probably not a great day if you're Dodgers medical staff.
Yeah, I know what you're alluding to, Spilly, and we'll show it graphically in a moment. Hard on the ground, and Nolan, he comes up with it. Man, he is amazing. Well, their young phenom, who the Rockies saw as a teenager last year, Julio Urias, he made a pitch in Tulsa. He's been in the minor leagues up and down this year, and felt something in his shoulder, kept going, and he ruptured a capsule in his shoulder. The long story of it, or the short story of it, is that he's going to have surgery on his shoulder, 12 to 14 months of rehabilitation. And shoulders, Spilly, as long as you and Sully have been in this game, for pitchers, they're different than the Tommy John. Nobody likes to hear Tommy John, but the recovery rate and the return to past performance is above 90% with the Tommy John surgery. It just takes a long time, 12 to 18 months. There's no guarantee with shoulders.
The only guarantee that I heard with, and especially in Urias' case, is that there was no shoulder or rotator cuff tears. It was a capsule. But yes, every time, and Corey, we've heard it. When you hear shoulder injury at the major league level, I mean, that's as close to the worst news you could possibly get if you're a pitcher.
Yeah, I remember when Jeff Francis found out he was going to have shoulder surgery, and it's the one that's really, really terrifying because you never know. There's so many little muscles and things in there that atrophy can happen to, that you never know how you're going to come back or if you're going to come back.
It's the anterior capsule in his left shoulder for all of you doctors or wannabe doctors out there. And again, a 12 to 14-month recovery period for the top pitching prospect in the Dodgers organization, and a guy they were planning on relying heavily on at different points this year because, fellas, nobody's, they're doing this fairly, so I use the term manipulated, but the new 10-day DL, the Dodgers have taken advantage of it maybe more than any team in baseball, giving rotation members, you know, a week off.
I think with John Gray coming back and Tyler Anderson coming back as well, the Rockies might start using that system to the same degree that the Dodgers are. Fastball inside, just missed the inside portion of the Subaru strike zone.
So it's 3-2 on Puig, and now he steps out.
In regards to the DL, though, guys, Bill, you know, the wear and tear during the season, you always nicked up, and this just gives you an opportunity to actually get rest.
Puig crushes this one to left center field. This is long gone. And he's getting around the bases a lot faster than he did against the Mets a couple of days ago.
Well, Puig wasn't even in today's lineup. Comes into the lineup because of Corey Seager getting a tight hamstring. 3-2 pitch. Freeland trying to go back inside. Looks like a slider. Middle portion of the plate.
And now Turner laces one to deep center, and that is over the head of Blackman. That is the third hit for Turner. Who's hotter, Turner or Paul Goldschmidt? That's 10 hits for the Dodgers with one out in the fourth inning.
They're run away from scoring in 7 straight games, 6 or more runs. Held tie a franchise record. Justin Turner with the leg kick. Picked it up a couple years ago with the New York Mets from a teammate of his, Marlon Byrd. Byrd and Turner worked on a leg kick in an offseason. And since Turner has joined the Dodgers, he has been nothing but great. Talk about elite right-handed batter. Justin Turner has turned himself into one.
Fouled off by Bellinger. Turner was never really a big home run guy. Since adding that leg kick, his power numbers have increased dramatically. 27 home runs last year. Previous year, he had about half a season or so's worth of at-bats. He had 16 home runs. Bellinger sac fly and an RBI double. Two outs. Turner to third.
Shortstop number 14, Kike Hernandez.
Hernandez had a base hit in the first, fly ball to left field in the second inning.
Corey, we've seen a lot of hitters and we've seen a lot of lineups. From your vantage point, to me it looks like the Dodgers are taking a lot of aggressive big hacks against Kyle Freeland.
They are definitely loaded up and ready to go. I think that was 4 first pitches in a row that they're hacking at, and they are definitely aggressive swings. The thing that's impressed me about them is when they get the opportunity with 2 strikes, the way they settle down and shorten up.
Two strikes now on Hernandez. And he went. That'll end the inning. A home run by Yasiel Puig on a 3-2 slider has increased the lead for LA to 5-1. Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get you 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich for a limited time only. It's not been a good start to the evening as the Rockies come to bat in the top of the 5th. They're down 5-1. Kyle Freeland against Alex Wood, and he takes strike 1. Freeland hit the ball hard right at shortstop. Corey Seager, his first time up. Seager is no longer in the ball game. It's Kike Hernandez at short. Strained hamstring has removed Seager. 0-2. Alex Wood started the game by giving up a base hit to Blackman, and then he walked LeMahieu on 4 pitches. The Rockies did not take advantage, though. Did not score in that first. Second inning, they got a base hit from Story leading off. And then after an out by Tapia, Murphy doubled in Tapia, who reached on a fielder's choice. But since that double, other than a walk with 2 outs to Mark Reynolds, Wood has pitched like he has all year. And now he has a half-dozen strikeouts. It's a guy, as you said, with a high ground ball rate, who also has a really high strikeout rate.
That makes you elite. Makes you a very elite pitcher. Rockies baseball is always live with the MLB.com at Bat mobile app. Stay connected all season with video highlights, stats, news, and more.
Charlie's 1 for 2. He had a little flare that was caught in the second inning by Justin Turner. Strike 1 on Charlie. Charlie earlier in the day did the Rich Eisen show. Said he had a good time. Charlie's getting a lot of requests. A lot of national requests. You know our buddies Millar and Rose like him on Intentional Talk.
Well, and baseball's taking notice.
Well, they should.
Over 2 million votes for the All-Star game. The balloting ends in a week.
Is it just me, or is the All-Star game kind of snuck up on us?
Feels like it has, hasn't it?
Yeah. When the Rockies, after this long road trip, they'll return home for a week, and then it's after that homestand, it's time for the All-Star break for some. Not going to be a break for Charlie.
Well, the funny part about Charlie going to Rich Eisen, he wasn't sure if he was going to go or not because it was going to cut into his sleeping patterns. Charlie loves to sleep.
And I think for any athlete, you guys remember when you were playing every day that part of your training is to make sure you get proper rest.
What's the best way to recover is to sleep.
One and two. Is out number 2. 6 in a row set down by Wood.
Spilly, you asked me last inning about the pitch sequencing and location for Wood. I'm starting to see a lot of similarities, and I never faced him, obviously, but with Clayton Kershaw, it is any pitch in any count and just a supreme confidence. And I'm starting to wonder if he's really taken to talking with Clayton Kershaw and how he approaches pitching.
Oh, I got to assume if you're following Clayton, hey, what's your book? How do you pitch this guy? And just do exactly what he does. Rick Honeycutt, Dodgers pitching coach. I talked to Kenley Jansen today, and I was asking him about his success. And I mean, everybody in this Dodgers organization raves about Rick Honeycutt.
You look at the all-time lowest ERAs at Dodger Stadium. You know who's going to be number 1 on that list. The great Sandy Koufax. But guess who's on that list? Alex Wood is on that list also. 1-1 and a ground ball to second. Forsythe's got it. We'll show you the list next inning. 1, 2, 3 in the 5th. 5-1 LA.
High speed challenge question. Who is the Rockies' biggest threat in the National League West? Is it A, Arizona, B, Los Angeles Dodgers? Go to @RootsSports_RM to cast your vote. We'll show you the results during our post-game show.
First pitch is a strike to Chris Taylor. Franklin Gutierrez to follow, 6, 7, and 8, and it's fouled off. When you guys played at Dodger Stadium, especially the first time you ever were in the outfield at Dodger Stadium, and this is, you know, an enormous park. The Rockies at Coors Field, one of the largest parks in baseball. Had over 49,000 recently for a couple of ball games. This stadium holds over 50,000. But when you look up, Sully, did it not feel like the place holds like 200,000? You know what I mean? It's so big. Story throws out Taylor, one gone.
It really, really did. And the blue seats up in the upper deck, just, they were never ending to me. And you mix that with the fact that you have the volume that you have in the outfield. It was all a little overwhelming the first time.
I made an error here at Dodger Stadium down the right field line. Right field line is short, and when we talk about symmetrical baseball fields, left field and right field are identical. But as I was going after the ball, the sound of the crowd made me flinch. And you talk about making an error at Dodger Stadium when it's sold out. There's no place you would rather go than to just hide somewhere.
Behind a blade of grass. That was my old goal. I made my first error in the big leagues here as well.
You like to push down on the elevator, disappear. Nice play.
That was a fantastic play. There you go. To the brand new baby and the mom with red hair. Is that naturally red?
Within 5 seconds, the baby's going to take a bite. God, I didn't even get it out of my mouth. One on Gutierrez, and that is foul.
So oftentimes, Dodger Stadium is known for having the beach balls, especially in the outfield. And one time I popped a beach ball with my spikes, just popped it and handed it to the guy. I have never been booed so loud in my entire life.
There's some people who've never forgotten that. Sully, when fans would talk to you, or especially on the road, give you a hard time, did you respond?
I would do my best to have some fun, be a little sarcastic with them.
You?
Yeah, just a little bit. But I never wanted to engage too much because you know they turn quick.
Good pitch. Strikeout of Gutierrez. Third strikeout for Kyle Freeland. Spilly, I know you did.
Yeah, I was more into physical comedy. I mean, I thought you could make fun of the fans making fun of you using physical comedy. Maybe
so you were kind of like Benny Hill out there?
Huh?
You were kind of like Benny Hill out there?
Yeah, because, I mean, people always say stuff to me, and I go like, you know, you just do physical comedy, and it's hilarious. I do remember, and Corey, you're in the best seat in the house. Right along the on-deck circle at Dodger Stadium, it is basically the fans are sitting there right with you, and a fan goes, Spielberg's Star Wars movies are terrible. And I'm like, it's George Lucas, you donkey. Never had a better laugh in my life.
Man, they liked you.
George Lucas did Star Wars. You know that, right?
I do know that. Yes, thank you. I've won LA. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. That is the city of Los Angeles. Busy by day and not necessarily as busy at night. It's one of those cities, the downtown area is picked up with LA Live, but it's one of those cities where people don't frequent it as much, especially on the weekend. I mean, it's a ghost town on the weekend. Other than when the Lakers or Clippers are playing, or the Kings.
Downtown Denver tonight.
You
park wherever, you park wherever you want.
Nolan will lead it off in the top of the 6th against Alex Wood, and he gets a breaking ball for a strike. Wood's strike percentage is among the best in baseball. His first pitch strike percentage is at 68%. Look at the guys on this list. Jimmy Nelson's a really talented guy. I know many of you perhaps haven't seen him with Milwaukee, but Scherzer, Kershaw, Wood, Strasburg. Did you take that group?
Oh, man.
And think about what they have in common. They get ahead, man. They don't mess around.
Yeah,
they don't nibble.
I've been looking at the at-bats throughout the night. There's only one real sideways at-bat, and that was DJ LeMahieu in the first inning where he had 4 straight balls. It's been upside-down counts for the Rockies hitter the entire night.
1-2 on Nolan. Ground ball to first, and a soft liner right back to Wood.
And this inning for me, for the Rockies, with Nolan, Reynolds, and Desmond coming up, is the inning. You have to make some damage right now.
Down the line and right at Turner, who has become one of the better third basemen defensively in baseball. 1 out. We were talking about the list of guys with the lowest all-time ERA who've made at least 10 starts at Dodger Stadium. Koufax way out in front of 137. Remember John Matlack? I grew up watching John Matlack with the Mets. One of the most intimidating pitchers of all time, J.R. Richard, with Houston, was a guy that fashioned a 177 here. And then Alex Wood. You'll see Kershaw's name on that list. I mean, it's probably not far off, but he's not among the top 5. Kershaw's just above that threshold. He's at 2.05.
Still
so
really good.
They're trying to get him to just start on the road now because of that. 76-30. Rockies will try to get after him tomorrow. 1-2 on Reynolds.
Kershaw gave up 4 home runs in his last start.
I got one for you. I'll repeat it tomorrow. Kershaw's given up more home runs this year than he has the last 3 years combined.
Conspiracy theory. Balls are wound tighter.
You can't ever just accept things, right?
No.
It's got to be some voodoo going on behind the scenes, right? 7 strikeouts as Reynolds goes down, and that'll bring up Desmond, who has struck out twice against Wood. Corey, what do you have?
Something that was really interesting on the play, ground ball Nolan hit. If you watch him, he's anticipating moving down that line before the pitch was even thrown, which either tells me, A, he knew the pitch sequencing, because I can guarantee you he could not see the pitch that was called or what he was throwing. But, I mean, it just goes to speak to what they were actually looking at right there. I mean,
that or he got a little whistle from Hernandez.
Yep.
A lot of times middle infielders, as you guys know, your cricket sound, something that will let the corner infielder know that it's an off-speed pitch. But that, and Corey, that was a great visual of it. I mean, that was a big hop, not just a step to the pull side. That was a big hop to the pull side.
And it changes the dynamic of the inning, obviously. I mean, if he doesn't make that move, that's a double down the line for sure.
Nolan is going to own the Gold Glove at third, as we all know, but Turner last year was one of the 3 finalists in the National League.
I can't think of another player in Major League Baseball that has transformed himself into the elite player that Justin Turner has transformed himself into.
Both ways, right? And it's another quick inning for Alex Wood. He has now retired 10 straight. Middle of 6, the Dodgers lead 5-1 at Chavez Ravine. The bottom of the 6th inning with Corey Sullivan down field level and Ryan Spilborghs up with me. I'm Drew Goodman, and it'll be Alex Wood leading things off, and he takes ball 1-0. Probably the last inning of work for Freeland. Dodgers with a 3.35 ERA lead baseball. And offensively, we're talking about it. They have been producing at an alarming rate.
Oh, they love my stories. Popping the ball with my spikes. Well, you probably do the same as me, but I'm curious how fans would react when you get booed. Most people don't get booed in their everyday work, right?
Joe, that was a horrible report. Are you kidding me?
All your colleagues, boo!
That was awful. What are you thinking about? LeMahieu throws out Wood. Hey, guess what? This is good news. The Albuquerque Isotopes will remain for the next few years. The AAA affiliate of the Colorado Rockies. It's been a great marriage. John Traub's their outstanding general manager. He's in the middle. Zach Wilson's the Rockies farm director. He's on the left. And, of course, Glenn Allen Hill, who's done a terrific job managing the Isotopes. And before that, the Sky Sox, when the Rockies were in Colorado Springs. So there they are at the press conference. And congrats to the Rockies organization and to the good folks down in Albuquerque. I have each of the last 2 summers taken a couple days off, gone to baseball tournaments with my kids down in Albuquerque, and I always stop in and see John and catch the Topes game. In fact, 2 years ago I got to see Trevor Story there, which was a blast. Trevor hit a home run that night, in fact. And That is a great, not a good venue, that is a great venue. Good sports town.
Great sports town.
Forsythe with a 2-0 count.
They used to have a berm in Albuquerque. I'm not sure if it's still there. Did they still have the berm in center field?
Yeah. That's a little big league park.
Yeah.
Great amenities, easy access. Off 25. And it's right, it's neat. It's right, it's catty corner from the pit, one of the historic basketball arenas in the country where the Lobos play. The football stadium's across the street. That's lined at Nolan, 2 outs. And it sets up well for Rockies players, particularly pitchers, Spilly, who then will graduate to Coors Field because it's at altitude.
It's a great hitter's ballpark. Ball flies out of Albuquerque. You can pitch at Albuquerque, and we saw with Jeff Hoffman. The numbers Hoffman put up in AAA Albuquerque basically letting the organization know that, hey, I'm ready to go.
Puig takes outside on a fastball. He took a 3-2 slider out to basically center field. In his first at bat, again, he came into the ball game, was not a starter, came in after Seager left with the tight hamstring, and Hernandez went from right field to shortstop, and Puig went into right field. The home run was the 14th of the year for Yasiel. Made mention of the fact that he had a slow trot. It was something like 30. Did you see it, Sully?
32.1 seconds.
Is that what it was? 32.1 around the bases, and that drew the ire of some of the Mets. I know Jose Reyes, among others, were yelling at him. Nothing came of it, and there was no retaliation the next day. Puig, if you missed his home run, that's a strike, 3-1. He got around the bases like Ryan Spilborgh's after he hit the walk-off grand slam. Maybe not quite that quick, but not far behind. He did get around the bases quick.
He was running fast.
And Puig run down first, a 2-out walk.
Right inside the Subaru strike zone. You can see Kyle upset with the result of the pitch. You like the location.
The third walk allowed by Freeland tonight. Turner is 3 for 3. He's risen the batting average 10 points. 397 matches the first half batting average for Larry Walker, or close to what Larry had. Was it 398 in the first half? Remember that? Flirting with 400 average in his MVP season. Walk.
There's
at
298
at the All-Star break.
Tony Gwynn was right there with him that same season.
Yes, you absolutely are right. How phenomenal was Tony Gwynn? Here's a great stat. And there's so many to underscore what a marvelous player the late Tony Gwynn was. Gwynn, in his 20-year career, how many times do you think he had games where he struck out 3 times or more?
Had to have had a handful of them, right?
Well, you think. I mean, no matter how great you are, you're gonna have
everyone has a bad day, right?
Right? Once.
Come on.
One time.
One time.
One time. Two and one on Turner. Rockies have Mike Dunn up. 106 pitches in. Want to get Freeland through this inning, and then Dunn will have the baseball in the 7th.
This is a scary at bat for me, watching Justin Turner with his takes and how well he has seen Kyle Freeland. 3 for 3 on the night. Expect him to get big on this swing.
3-1.
The game just looks slow to me when I'm watching Justin Turner. Is it not to you, Corey? Does it not look like he sees the baseball like it's a beach ball?
Yeah, when you do a high leg kick like that, you know, Spill, you and I messed around with it. We couldn't do it because you have to be so connected and arrive on time with all of those moving parts. His load is slow and deliberate, and he arrives on time almost every swing.
They say that, you know, guys with leg kicks are prone to, everybody has peaks and valleys in this game, but larger peaks and valleys. That's not a small leg kick.
No, it's the best way to hit is with a leg kick, if you can use it, because it gets your entire body into the swing. It's if your leg kick's timing's off, you might as well just go home.
And with that leg kick, you have to stay connected. Your upper body has to travel with your lower body. You always hear people say staying behind the baseball, but that upper body's got to go with it. And you guys are familiar with the term take mass to impact, and that is exactly what he does.
He actually charges the baseball. If
Yeah.
you look from the side, again, you probably wouldn't teach what he does, but he has such great hand-eye coordination that he's able to do that. I mean, the head moves quite a bit with Justin Turner. Retreating's Nolan, and he makes a beautiful throw. That's not an easy play either. Finally, Turner's retired. So we'll go to the 7th. The Rockies trail by 4. Time for our Cooney Lexus look back. Rockies got on the board on this double by Tom Murphy as Raimel Tapia scored all the way from first, and then it was Turner. He has 3 hits in the ball game. Second inning single brought home Corey Seager, and then Seager left with a tight hamstring. Puig came into the ball game, and his first at bat he hit a home run, his 14th of the year. That's our Cooney Lexus look back. And there's a new pitcher out there for the Dodgers. They've been using Kenta Maeda in and out of the rotation. And when he's not in the rotation, he's throwing kind of long haul relief on the plus side.
It's an interesting use of Kenta. He was so good last year as a starter. See the numbers, 61 in the 3rd innings, because he did start the season off as a starter. I think when you have Alex Wood pitching as well as he has, it will move a guy. like Kenta out of the rotation. Still gets the high strikeout, more strikeouts than innings pitched.
And he's a guy not unlike Wood. Obviously, he's right-handed, but he'll throw any pitch in any count. Starts out Trevor Story with a curveball. Trevor a single and a strikeout. Off the end of the bat, it's 0-2. The Dodgers, we're talking about Wood pounding the strike zone. Kershaw the same way. The Dodgers are #1 in baseball in first pitch strikes. The Rockies, this surprised me. The Rockies are 29th in producing first pitch strikes. It surprises me because, you know, the last couple days aside, the Rockies have pitched very, very well. In fact, their road ERA of 3.39 is second in Major League Baseball to Arizona. It's ahead of the Dodgers. Dodgers are 4th on that list. And to produce a low ERA, you're thinking they must be working ahead. So that number, that low first pitch strike percentage, caught me by surprise. 2-2.
Maeda coming out of the bullpen throwing 94-95 with his fastball.
We didn't see that as a starter.
Not at all. He was sitting more 90-92.
Well, I say this on occasion, Spilly. Urias goes down today. There's 3 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and pitchers get hurt. Think of the Mets a couple years ago. People are saying they got to trade one of those. They got so many starters. Trade one for a big bat. Now you look at the Mets pitching staff, right?
In shambles.
And the Dodgers have dealt with, you know, some injuries. That's strike 3 to their pitchers.
A strikeout on the night for the Rockies hitters. Fastball down and away. Good movement running back. Well received by Austin Barnes behind the plate.
That'll bring up Tapia. Tapia, who spent a good portion of this year down in Albuquerque. We were just talking about the isotopes. Last night, Ryan McMahon went 2 for 5.
Has anyone got him out this month?
A couple people, that's it. Because he's hitting in 91 at bats, 420. And good for Jordan Patterson. 3 for 4 tonight. A bomb, drove in 3 for Albuquerque. Beat the Chihuahuas. Is there anything better than beating the Chihuahuas? There was an extra celebration for you, Sully, when you guys beat the Chihuahuas, right?
Sully, did they? I don't think, were they the El Paso Chihuahuas in the PCL when you were last there?
Nope.
Diablos.
Not for me.
I did. El Paso wasn't there.
Oh, they weren't?
They were in Double A.
They were Double A.
Okay, well, imagine then they were there and they were the Chihuahuas. Would it not be a doubly special night?
It would be an extra special night.
Thank you. 2 strikes on Raimel Tapia. He scored the Rockies' only run. Reached on a fielder's choice. Scored on the Tom Murphy double. That's tough play.
Too steep of an angle.
Brendan Rodgers made his first appearance in Hartford last night. He went 0 for 4. Just got moved up from Lancaster. Kind of solved the Cal League, I guess.
If you hit 400 in any league, yeah, you have it figured out. The 0 for 4 in Hartford, they should send him back.
Yeah. Tough league.
Come on, dude, you didn't make any outs in that last league. What are you doing?
Yeah, what's going on? Go back. Good at bat by Raimel. anytime after spending time in Japan, it was interesting to come back and try to figure out how to approach Japanese pitchers, because they pitch different. They pitch backwards. When I talk pitching backwards, they throw off speed and fastball counts. And fastballs when you get to 2 strikes. It was a rare at bat when you came up to hit and you had a first pitch fastball, or if you had fastball, you get to 2 strikes, that they went off speed. It was never like that.
Well, as they say, would you guys sit soft, sit off speed?
You would sit soft until you got to 2 strikes. And Matt Merton, who had great success there, that's how he hit and told me, hey, don't hunt fastball until 2 strikes.
This is a high quality at bat being put together by Tapia. Brings me to another discussion. In baseball, because it is so difficult to hit, do you believe process trumps, not that it trumps results, but that you can't be consumed? You want results, but you have to be consumed with process.
It's the hardest thing for a player to trust the process, like the Philadelphia 76ers, because you still need results. You want a result because the result gets you in the game the next day. The process doesn't get you the next bat the next day. But you have to understand that those processes, the way that you prepare for the game, they will allow you to have eventual success.
And does it not help keep your sanity? Because if your process is good, you have 4 bats and this ball's hitting the air to shallow left, Turner going back's going to get there. 2 outs. But if your process, produces 4 quality at bats, even though you don't have anything to show for it, and you could have another night where you have 4 lousy at bats and you hit a 17 hopper that finds an open space and a broken bat bloop, and you went 2 for 4. Yeah, when you look at the results were better, but your process was better. Sanity-wise.
Sanity-wise, I could sleep like a baby if I had a broken bat, base hit versus a nice process day and go for 4.
This ball's lifted high and deep left field by Murphy, and it's going to die mid-track in the glove of Franklin Gutierrez. I thought he got it. The Rockies go in order again in the 7th. They have not had a base runner since the 3rd. We are in Los Angeles over the weekend, where there's sand, there's sun, and there's the Santa Monica Pier. You ever been to Santa Monica Pier?
Yeah, I love it there.
Yeah, the Santa Monica Pier's fun. Busy tonight, Friday night. Friday night in Tinseltown, and the Rockies on the wrong end right now as we go to the bottom of the 7th. It's 5-1. Corey Sullivan's field level. Mike Dunn is going to take over here for the Rockies. Mike trying to find a little bit of success, try to find that groove he had back in April.
And for me, it's just been his command of the strike zone, making sure he trusts his slider, locate the fastball. It's just been mislocation for Mike Dunn, and his last outing at Coors Field, infield single. I mean, a lot of things have gone sideways for Mike of late. We'd like to see him get that confidence back because he is an integral part of this team moving forward.
Cody Bellinger is 1 for 2 and a sac fly. He's driven in 2 runs tonight. And he takes strike 1. This guy won't be 22 until July 13th.
Come on.
Should be going into his senior year in college. He's hit 9 straight. He was a 4th-round pick. 0-2 on Bellinger, and he's gone. So a good sequence from Dunn as he strikes out the kid. That'll bring up Kike Hernandez.
Suites are still available for the July 3rd and 4th fireworks games. All suite clients get to enjoy the fireworks show from the field. Call 303-ROCKIES to check availability today.
Hernandez a single in the first, fly ball to left, and a strikeout tonight. The only 2 positions he has never played at the big league level is pitcher and catcher. There will be a time.
I'm sure he's the backup emergency catcher. He just doesn't know it. Most managers don't.
I think he probably does know it.
You think Doc has told him?
I just think he knows that, you know, I play everywhere. It's part of why I'm in the big leagues. That slider's a strike, 1-1. Who was the guy we were telling the story the other day?
Jamie Carroll?
No, with Arizona.
Descalso?
No, it wasn't. Actually, it was the Giants. Excuse me. It was Bruce Bochy, and he was talking about
Gorkys Hernandez.
Gorkys Hernandez being their emergency catcher. Because remember, Posey got hurt, and he goes, "Don't tell him." Managers do this periodically. Gorkys doesn't know this, but he is the emergency catcher. For the Rockies, Sully, what do you got? Pat Valaika?
I think it's got to be that or Alexi.
I was going to say put Lexi back there.
Yep. I think that.
Would there be any gear that could fit him though?
Yeah.
That's mean. Coming from you?
I could say that.
He's the only
right?
one who could say it.
I told Lexi. I told Lexi, and I told the last time the Rockies played the Astros. And they were playing him, what, every other year for a while. I'd tell Altuve, you're my 2 favorite players in baseball. And I'd say I can post you up, too. I talk a little trash. 3-2 on Amarista. I said we showed Amarista, and I'm saying 3-2 on Hernandez. I lost my train of thought. And that's been part of the problem for Mike. There's been a multitude of walks. So a 1-out walk to Hernandez, and that'll bring up Chris Taylor.
Number 3, Chris Taylor.
See, Buddy put on the jacket. You may be saying, hey, it's LA, it's the summer. It's a little cooler tonight, isn't it? So you're down there.
Yeah, and it's a little humid, too. It's cool. I was debating on putting on the jacket as well.
Love it, Jeff. Got to be an optimist. And you know this Rockies offense can explode. Just keep it right where it is. A 4-run game. You never know. Taylor, an infield hit. 1 for 3. The infield hit came in the first.
Chris Taylor was drafted by the Mariners in the 5th round in 2012 out of the University of Virginia. But a great side note, his father was a wrestler at Virginia Tech. And during his time frame there, his father, Chris, held the record for the fastest pin. It lasted for about 20 years.
Really? What dad wrestle at? Does it say?
No, it doesn't say what weight class he was in. But I could probably pin Corey in faster than Chris's father set the record.
Oh, man. I would pay good money to see the two of you guys wrestle. Sully, I know you're thinking, I can hear the gears working from 100 yards away.
I will happily bet my bottom dollar that he will not pin me, that I will get him to tap out.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, you know I won't tap out.
3-1.
We can put it on TV too, Spilly. That's how sure
I want to get some background info on this. Did either one of you at any point in your illustrious athletic careers, you both were multi-sport athletes. Corey was a great soccer player. I don't know what you were.
I'm trying to go my
player.
Conor McGregor right here.
You played football though.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Did you wrestle at any point in your life?
I was a huge fan of wrestling. Wrestled a lot of my friends.
The WWE?
Yeah, you know, like you set up the
jumping off the top turnbuckle. We're not talking about that kind of wrestling.
No, I never actually did any physical wrestling or any sort of physical activities that involved fighting
like a
or
good single leg or anything like that.
Are you done yet?
Sully, you have wrestling in your background?
Yeah, I wrestled till I was 12 years old, actually.
I'm going with Sully then. That's where my money is. That's all I needed to know. Did a little research on this. Well, I need to know one other thing. Hold on. I do need. Sully, how much do you weigh right now?
Probably right around 200 pounds.
Okay. Spilly?
190. 192.
I'll drop 10 pounds.
All right. Well, then stop eating Dodger dogs.
You had the Dodger dog?
I did. It was like eating a salt packet.
So you know what? We'll make it easy. We'll go at 195. That's a strikeout, and Murphy's throw is not quite in time to get Hernandez, so we'll move up. On the strikeout on Taylor, that'll bring up Gutierrez.
Good sequence of pitches for Mike Dunn after walking Kike. I love the slider down and in. TJ was trying to get Murphy not to make that throw just in case it goes into the outfield.
Pretty close.
Murphy made it close. Snap throw.
That could be our CenturyLink high-speed challenge poll question tomorrow. Who wins at 195 pounds? 3 2-minute periods.
Oh, that's you realize we'll be gassed after the first one.
Jock Peterson pinch hitting. I got 100 on Spilly. No offense, but he has reach. I don't know if he has much.
I'm taller than him.
So yeah.
You're not.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. What? No.
All right, we're gonna go cage match if we're gonna do this because I don't want him running off.
You're going MMA?
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna sprint off when he sees me with my shirt off. When I start flexing,
I'm gonna laugh.
This is beautiful. Peterson almost fell over. 1-1.
How much baby oil am I allowed to put on myself prior to this wrestling match?
That's the bad visual. Can we just stick to the wrestling here? Peterson homered yesterday. Pinch hitting for Gutierrez. Two and one on Jock.
Well, Trevor had Kike Hernandez picked off. Mike Dunn stepped off versus doing the spin throw.
Two and two. They finally scored that. Hernandez moved up on a pass ball on the strikeout of Taylor. You know, we have to. I'm speaking out loud again for one of our poll questions. You know what we got to do? You know, for years people say if you score with us at home, that's a pass ball, right? Announcers been saying that for generations. How many people still score, whether at the ballpark or when you watch at home? Susan Strand, who's our outstanding graphics coordinator. Susan, can we do that as a question?
Yes.
Susan's mom still scores. She just let us know. Susan's mom never misses a Rockies game. This guy's scoring.
That looks like a scout's.
Yeah, but he's scoring too. Three-2 on Jock Peterson. 2 outs, home half of the 7th. And a good pitch. That's fair ball. Reynolds gloves it. And Mike Dunn, despite the walk, gets out of the situation with a runner at second base. 5-1 as we go to the 8th. Rockies got to get it going. Time for the Kubota pitching performance. Alex Wood started slowly. The Rockies had a couple opportunities early to nick him. They got 1 run against him, and then he settled in. He gives up just a run on 3 hits. Kyle Freeland got better as the evening went on, but 10 hits, 5 runs over his 6 innings. A career-high 110 pitches thrown. In fact, just the second time he has been in triple digits in pitches thrown. Earlier this year, he had a 100-pitch performance. So that's our Kubota pitching performance of the night. We go to the 8th inning, and we'll get a pinch hitter for Mike Dunn. It will be Alexi Amarista, and he'll face the former Blue Jay Brandon Morrow.
Morrow recently called up. 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. He's looked fantastic in his new role coming out of the bullpen. We remember him. Morrow has always had a great arm. He was a starter for a majority of his time in the major leagues.
He had a start against the Rockies back a bunch of years ago that was filthy at Rogers Center. One of those deals where he was basically unhittable and struck out a bunch of Rockies that night. 0-1 on Amarista. Might have went a scoreless 7th and had a strikeout. 98, still got the big arm. One and two. Two and two. I had somebody tweet me, sorry Spilly, I got $100 on Sully. I've seen him play trivia and his tenacity is nasty. I don't know about the wrestling correlation, but okay.
He's going tenacity.
It's will.
Sully, your dad's weighed in on this prospective match.
He has. He's offered to pay both Spilly and I to not do it.
To not wrestle.
Yeah.
Amarista goes down on a high fastball.
Coors Field is a great place for group outings. Groups of 25 or more receive discounted pricing, scoreboard recognition, and other great benefits. Call today for more information.
Charlie has a base hit and 3 at bats. Home run he hit yesterday is 16th of the first half. A year ago he hit 29, so he's a little ahead of that pace. And he pops this one up to left. Chris Taylor's now in left field. Gutierrez has come out of the ball game, and I'll tell you Jock Peterson's in center. Jock's going to slide over to right center here with DJ LeMahieu up. Jordan Lyles will have the baseball in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Rockies. That fastball's low, ball one. It's one of those situations, 2-0, ball on the inner half. You saw DJ open his hips early, looking to
do some
turn
damage
on a ball.
Yep. You know, when you're down 4 runs to this Dodgers team and you haven't really had a lot of quality at bats, you will see the occasional bigger swing in a hitter's count.
Well, I hear that fastball up at our level. That thing was humming. 98, 2-2. Buddy Black, Steve Foster. That was 100 on the gun.
And the Dodgers relievers today, Maeda, a starter that we've seen so many different times, touching 94, 95. Brandon Morrow, when he was at his best as a starter, was touching maybe 96, 97 as a starter.
And on the inside corner, LeMahieu called out by Field and Colbert. Got the inside corner, at least on the Subaru strike zone. So a 1-2-3 inning for Brandon Morrow. The Rockies have not had a base runner since the 3rd. Their last hit was in the 2nd. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by the Wyoming Office of Tourism. Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why TravelWyoming.com. Traffic in LA? Kidding me? Line score on this one, 5 runs, 10 hits. No errors for the Dodgers. A run on just 3 hits and an error for the Rockies. 16 straight Rockies have been retired by the combination of Alex Wood, Kenta Maeda, and most recently Brandon Morrow. Jordan Lyles now pitching for the Rockies. Bottom of the 8th, Austin Barnes is at the plate. And the first pitch was out of the zone. The next pitch is on the corner. It's 1-1.
Lyles picked up 2 1/3 innings of relief on Wednesday against the Diamondbacks. But Black has asked him to do a lot of different roles in this bullpen.
Ground ball to third. That's foul. Nolan not privy, at least initially, to the call. Went through with trying to complete the play.
Chris Woodward.
Chris Woodward saying that's pretty good. I was having a conversation recently with Stu Cole about, I don't know how we got into this, but you know, runners when they get to, or excuse me, third baseman, not runners, but you know what third basemen are most engaging. He's talking about Kyle Seager when the Rockies were up in Seattle playing the Mariners, and obviously the Mariners were also in Denver. And he's developed a nice relationship with Kyle, who's also a fellow North Carolinian. And he said, you know, there's some guys that are great to visit with. You look forward to see him. And then there's some other guys that, you know, they don't say a whole lot. Nolan's a guy you can chat up, though.
Sometimes, not always.
Two and two. Slider, 3-2. Well, it was a rough couple of days for 2 young starting pitchers for the Rockies. This is in the air to right, pretty well hit. Wow, I didn't think it was that well hit. It goes off the wall, and Barnes can run. He's going to end up at third. Do you think that ball had that kind of carry?
The way he reacted after he hit it, yeah. Got on top of a pitch and drilled it to right field. I think off the bat, even Raimel was surprised by it. But again, another Dodgers hitter with a big leg kick. It takes a big swing. Hanging slider. The reaction of Barnes. Tapia in right field. It's been a bit of an adventure for him tonight at Dodger Stadium on the Subaru Supermo. Let's see where the ball hits on the wall.
Chase Utley is going to be the pinch hitter for Morrow. Infield in.
Corey, did you find this outfield as one of the harder ones to pick up the baseball off the bat?
In the corners I did. Center field I felt like it was okay, but when you're playing a corner here with the lights and the underneath of the roofing in the upper deck is yellow, the ball can get lost in there as well.
The other part about Dodger Stadium, and Corey, we can continue to explain, it is hard to hear the baseball.
It definitely is.
An outfielder relies on the sound of the ball off the bat.
You read swing and listen for sound. That dictates how hard it's hit typically.
2-0 lifted out of play. 2 balls and a strike. All winter the Dodgers were in search of a starting second baseman. They didn't bring Utley back till late, and his role was going to be a role player. He's played first, a little bit of second. They tried hard to get Brian Dozier from Minnesota. That didn't work out. Finally, they traded one of their top pitching prospects, Jose De Leon, to Tampa and got Logan Forsythe. Forsythe missed a good deal of time this year. His number's not great right now, but his teammates really picked him up. Dodgers at 48-26. The Rockies 47-28. So now it's full 3-2. And he walked him.
Zach Brown Band is coming to Coors Field Saturday, July 29th. Tickets are on sale now. Get your tickets today at Rockies.com/CBB. With Chase Utley's walk at UCLA graduate, along with Garrett Atkins. Today was probably a special day for another UCLA player. Lonzo Ball was here, throwing out the first pitch.
Was Dad here?
No, thank goodness no. Second overall pick for the Lakers. It's Zoe time here in California. I wasn't quite sure what he was going to do. He was wearing the big baller slippers. They don't look very comfortable, but he did throw a strike. Kenley Jansen wearing Magic Johnson Laker jersey.
You can order those for $4.99, Spilly.
I have 2 pair coming.
Logan Forsythe takes a cutter outside, 1-0.
David Ortiz threw out a first pitch in Boston tonight. You think he threw a strike?
I was watching that whole ceremony and I didn't see that part. Did he not throw a strike? This ball is in the air to left. I'll get a run home. Desmond's going to hit the cutoff, throw to second, safe. So Utley moved up. Where he caught that ball, should it automatically go to second, Spilly?
Yeah, I probably should have. Nolan tried to cut it off and make the spin and get it to second base. Utley is a high baseball IQ. As soon as he saw this ball hit, he would go back to first base and tag up. He's paying attention to Ian Desmond. The Rockies are still lining up the throw. So the way the Rockies defense, the way Nolan was set up and Trevor, even though the throw probably should have gone to second base. Corey, you know this. Oftentimes you'll see the shortstop and the third baseman point and just tell you to go to second.
Yeah, as an outfielder, if you can't get behind the baseball, the safer throw to keep the double play in order is always wise.
Here's a strike on Puig. Seager started the game, 2 singles, 2 runs scored. He drove in a run and then had to leave. This is on the ground to short. Puig is now 1 for 2 and a walk. Two outs, and that'll bring up Turner.
So to answer the question about David Ortiz, did he throw a strike? No. He didn't even hit the catcher that was trying to catch him.
He's a DH.
Played Major League Baseball. He's retired 267
They should have had him hit a fungo into the crowd.
That would have been awesome. He looked like 50 Cent throwing out a first pitch today.
No, it wasn't that bad, was it?
One guy that played Major Leagues for a lot of years.
50 Cent threw the ball sideways. It was bad, huh?
It was bad.
Now we got to go look at the video.
Yeah. Or turn away.
Loved his speech. There's a strike on Turner. Pedro Martinez was there, delivered a speech. They're very, very close. Dustin Pedroia was really short and sweet, but very moving speech about his teammate. 1-1 on Turner.
Big Papi was great for the game. He's a great ambassador for the game. What he did for Dominican players and other Latin players, I think there's so many guys in the major leagues that can thank Big Papi for what he's helped them accomplish. A guy like Vargas with Minnesota Twins, who Big Papi reached out to and keeps in close contact. His relationship with Manny Ramirez during Manny's time with the Red Sox. Talk about quality Hall of Famer on and off the field.
Good block by Murphy, 2-2. Well, for me, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And when people talk about guys that primarily were DHs, we were in Seattle and, you know, had that discussion up there about the DH because, you know, Seattle's hitting coach was one of the all-time.
I loved Edgar Martinez. Loved him.
DHs. It's a position,
yeah. Right?
Why are you detracting? Oh, they didn't play the field. It's still a position. You're limited. If you're a ninth inning, guys aren't eliminated from going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, in theory, let's say you were never a ninth inning guy, but you were one of the premier setup men for 15 years and had a 1.5 ERA. Should you not be, you know, in position to at least be a candidate? Good play by Nolan. Leadoff triple by Barnes. He scores on a fly ball by Logan Forsythe. 6-1. We go to the ninth. Nolan Arenado will be first up in the ninth inning. The Rockies, again, have not had a hit since the second inning. 16 straight retired since the walk to Mark Reynolds with 2 gone in the third. Sergio Romo, the erstwhile Giant, has made a home here in Los Angeles. Unsightly ERA, but again, you don't pay as close attention to ERA with relievers because, you know, a bad outing or two can really sour your ERA. That pitch is outside, ball one.
Couple mile-an-hour dip on Sergio Romo's fastball. He's about 84 to 87 at his best. He was 88 to 90.
And there's a slider. It's whacked to deep left field, and it was caught out there by Taylor. It's the hardest hit ball the Rockies have had maybe tonight. One out. Who wants tacos? Fans follow at @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more in a ball game. Reynolds 0 for 2 and that walk back in the third. .942 OPS coming into tonight for Mark. And that slider nicked the inside corner. 2 strikes. Here's a pitching matchup tomorrow. It doesn't get easier. You got Clayton Kershaw at 10-2. Yankees swung the bats against him a little bit this year, though. 3 home runs back in Denver earlier this season. And Tyler Chatwood, and we know how talented Tyler is, especially out on the road. And he loves pitching in Southern California, his home. That'll be a good one. Chatwood and Kershaw tomorrow. Well, a lot of guys have struggled against that slider of Romo from the right side in particular. Former Giant closer. Center field, and that ball was knuckling. Yeah, you can see John Peterson saying, you see that thing make a left turn?
Well, Romo threw Mark Reynolds a slider. Reynolds hit Jock Peterson in one. A late cut on that. What do you think, Corey? Was that ball knuckling? You think he knuckled it, or just the way he swung around it?
I think that was a pure knuckleball.
.1-0 on Desmond. And it's 1-1.
If the Rockies are going to beat Clayton Kershaw tomorrow, they're going to have to be better situationally. The first inning for the Rocks tonight let Alex Wood off the hook, first, second, and third with 1 out.
You just don't get a ton of opportunities against that ilk of pitcher. And you're going to need a great start on the other side. I'm sure there are many nights that you went into a ball game knowing, listen, on paper, 3 may be a really good number, right? Two and 2. Well, it was the Dodgers' night. They beat the Rockies this evening 6-1 in the first of 3 in LA. And the Rockies have lost their 3rd straight. They have not lost 4 in a row all year. They'll try to avoid that tomorrow night, as we were talking about with Tyler Chatwood on the hill. The Rockies, see the last 19 hitters go down in succession. The Rockies fall to 47-29. The Dodgers now a 2.5 game lead on Colorado. They're 49-26. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Alex Wood, the Rockies had a couple opportunities early. They got 1 run off him, and then he settled in. He went 6 innings. He improves to 8-0 this year. Taking the loss was Kyle Freeland. He is now 8-5. Again, the final score: the Dodgers 6, the Rockies 1. To Denver we go. And here's Mark and Huey.